Hello, hello, what is going on, guys? Phoenix 6-1 here with another... What game is this? Oh, yeah, World of Warships Legends Shenanigans, right? So we are in the Agano, so this is the new tech tree for Japanese cruisers, right? So I did get, out of a crate, early access to this Tier 4 one. So I wanted to get a couple of games out in the books with this thing just to kind of show it off and give off my opinions on it, right? I did play it on stream a few times, so if you're really interested, go check out some of my recent live streams as well and kind of scroll through those. But yeah, ultimately, like, this is, I wouldn't say it's too much different than some of the other Japanese cruiser lines, right? The big changes are kind of like I think the guns aren't quite as good. There's some floatiness to the bullets here. You're maybe not doing as much damage, right? But the turrets do on a lot of these, like the front ones on this one, they turn 360. So this makes it like really nice for sort of kiting, which is kind of the strategy I take a lot of times when I'm playing Japanese cruisers, because then you can kind of bounce, from side to side. And you're not waiting for those front guns to make that full turn all the way around, right? They can turn it, right? So you'll kind of notice that a little bit as we play here. And we get a little screwed with our damage con situation. This, I don't know if it's this T61 or just everybody, but manages to break pretty much everything on our ship here. So I don't know if that's a good sign for this ship, or if it's just a matter of what's, he's getting lucky, or that ship's good at breaking stuff. I don't know. But yeah, so I took a couple of torpedo shots through the zone, hoping to get lucky, and I think that's kind of, in general, the strategy you have to take with this ship. They've got to be sort of, those long shot, guess shot, zoning torpedo shots, like whatever you want to call them, to kind of just put them out there. Hope to have some luck, maybe keep some enemies away, kind of thing. So I'm actually gonna slow down here since we're not spotted, right? So I'm gonna try and remain unspotted. I'm not sure if that destroyer is gonna try and challenge the zone, the enemy destroyer, or if he's gonna come around the corner here. But I'm gonna wait on my damage con since we had so many issues there. But instead of just getting rid of this, the rudder damage that we had. But yeah, and for this build right now that I'm using on it, so there is a calendar event going on right now as well, that has a commander that's sort of, it's obvious they want you to use that commander for these new cruisers, right? So whether or not we do that, I kind of have mixed feelings. I'm definitely gonna try and complete the calendar event and try it out, but there's a lot of torpedo-ness going on with that commander, and it's just kind of like, when you do get those hits, like, they're huge. Like, the torpedoes are super strong. They're really great on these, and on this ship, you get 2 racks that can fire on both sides of the ship, too, so it's really nice. So it doesn't matter what angle you're facing, right? But, somebody finished off that, and then, yeah, so we get 2 hits on that cruiser and get the dev strike out of it, right? And that puts us, damn near from 0 to 45,000 damage done. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, these torpedoes are just brutal, and then if you're building into them more with your commander and your loadout, then that's, all the more power to them, to those torps. But, like, I've got 15 main battery hits, which is, pretty awful at this point in the game, but, and then only 2 torpedo hits, right? And granted, most of my damage is from those torpedoes, but it's still like, do I want to build more into the guns? Is kind of what I'm getting at. So I'm going to definitely be playing around with this, sort of as I go through this tech tree, right? As we get up to the higher tier ships. And so I'll definitely, keep an eye out. I'll definitely be putting out videos when I have decent games, right? But so for this game, like, this loadout definitely worked, and because we're gonna get hits on this Ismail at some point. I don't know if it's this volley or not, but if you just have this, like, it's the ultimate kiting away ship, right? Like, I do feel like armor's not as good, but that may just be because I'm down here at the, lowly tier 4s, and we're getting hit by, Ismail's a tier 5 battleship, right? So But yeah, I do feel like I get wrecked pretty bad, even if we're angled appropriately, right? So battleship bullets can still tickle quite a bit, even if we're angled at distance and kiting and doing everything we can. So I do kind of it's almost like one of those cruisers where like a Minotaur or something, where you really want to try and stay out of sight too. It's kind of that in between point for that, but it is what it is, I guess, right? So far I'm enjoying them, minus a couple of games I've gotten my butt kicked. But yeah, so we get a torpedo hit on Ismail, trying to do a little bit of damage to this Congo, but we're a little out of range. And that's the other thing that I was kind of getting at too. Like, since I haven't built much into the guns, the range is kind of bad. The reload's not great, so I'm like, man, like you're firing your guns a lot more than you're firing torpedoes because, well, they reload way faster, right? So originally I was like, I'm gonna go around this island here, and then I decided too late. When I decided too late not to, so we're gonna have to make a classic Y turn here, but yeah. Because I was like, oh, I was trying to be a little bit more defensive. I thought that Ismail was still coming in hard, and he's not, so we're straight up unspotted with nothing to shoot, and that was a mistake on my part. I should have turned in to stay in the battle, right? But in my defense, I don't want to die. I don't want to take hits from that thing either. So going unspotted and spotted, has probably kept us alive, because he hasn't focused on us very much. He's only taken one or two shots at us, right? So we'll take a shot here, and then I'm gonna start angling away. So like, now that he's in range, I'm like, okay, now we can go around, right? It's not a big deal. And then if I can actually get behind this, get this island between us and him, I might be able to shoot without being spotted, which would be, that's probably what you want to go for, right? So yeah, we'll hit the brakes here. Yeah, acceleration and deceleration seem a little brutal, but I think that's part of that's, it's the lower tier. It's tier 4 right now. We're gonna get something on him. All right, so we're at 76,000. One hit. Did another 10,700. Yeah, it's brutal. And like, these are like, I know once you get to tier 6 or 7, the torpedoes get even stronger, right? Like, they're basically Shimikaze torpedoes, like 20,000 damage, like they're around that range. But the battleships, that's max damage, right? So the battleships have, a lot of battleships have some torpedo protection, so you're not doing that full damage, right? And then, yeah, we'll trigger fire. This puts us over 100 grand. I wonder, were we doing flood damage too, maybe? Either way, he looks pretty screwed. We might be doing flood damage. Our damage ticker is going up pretty quick there. So yeah, the Soviet battleships, most of them have like a limited number of damage controls that you can use. So if you fire spam them enough, then they misuse those, they'll run out of those, and then they'll just flood and or burn to death the next time you do it, next time you trigger some status effects, right? Pensacola, so Pensacola, like that, he'd be another ship. I'm surprised he doesn't look our way to try and take a shot at us, but I'm just keeping an eye on his guns, right? Like, if he's not gonna look this way, I'll stay broadside so I can get good shots on him, right? So we trigger fire on him. Just kind of hoping to jack another kill here. 3 would be better than 2, right? But yeah, he's got, like, he's literally the last ship, right? Like, now it's just the carrier. But yeah, like, so Pensacola, like, some of those, especially those American cruisers, they could really wreck you as well, especially at tier 5, right? But yeah, so we're gonna win on points here in a second, and I'll go just real briefly. I'll show you what I have for commander loadout for this, what I'm using right now, because obviously I don't have the new commander unlocked, right? Because that calendar event's still going on. But I'll show you who I'm using, and then I'm kind of considering trying out my other, like, for basically who it is that I'm using for all my other Japanese cruisers. I always forget people's names, because I think I'm using a Geist, and it's like Commander, it's like Scrooge from like Christmas or something. But yeah, so we'll head towards the carrier, but obviously we're not going to make it because we're going to win on points here. It was quite the slaughter. But yeah, so like I'm kind of, like I'm gonna play with everybody, right? I'll show you who. Yeah, so I'm using. Yeah, I'm not gonna try and say this guy's name, Togo, right? A 2600 XP, that does put us at the top of the leaderboard quite easily for that game. I'm sure that devastating strike helped out, right? Made a little bit of silver. I mean, 200 grand silver for a regular tech tree tier 4, that's pretty good actually. So we're using this guy, and I put, he's got a couple of torpedo centric things in his regular build, but then I also grabbed torpedo stuff for inspirations too, and one of them being Tanaka, which is more damage, right? Everybody can have him. Space Fishy, I think Space Fishy is available right now, but it's like doubloons. I got him lucky out of like a crate like years ago now at this point, but so I'm using, like gun traverse speed. I'd rather have the sea detectability, and then torpedo reload. Pick that over movement speed. And then main battery range is kind of an easy choice for me there because the range is kind of bad to start with, And then I'm almost always using fully packed. You guys know me. And then, yeah. So, here I'll go into so this is who I use for all my other Japanese cruisers, right? And so, and this is way more focused on guns and HE shell damage, right? Which would be a good build for this too, I think, right? So I'm conflicted. So I'm gonna try out Mr. Scrooge here. I think it's who is it? Tanaka? I'll check really quick here once we go through these, right? But if you've watched literally any of my other Japanese cruiser videos, I've had this loadout for quite a while. Like I don't think I've changed this at all. You could go refill station here for the better reload time. I love me some consumables, right? So I'm almost always going with that. It's Yamamoto, right? So up in the top right, you can see. So, and Scrooge is the commander guys, right? So, but yeah, so and I've got him like fully ranked up too, because I was using him so much. So I poured resources into ranking him up. But here's the calendar event, right? We're almost done with this thing. So if you haven't done that middle row, those cost 100 doubloons to unlock, but you also get 100 doubloons, so go and just get those. Are basically freebies if you can do them. But so his base trait has, a torpedo-centric stuff, and then he does have HE damage here, but like almost every row, more range for torps, so, but I'm nervous that I'm going to go in here, torpedo reload time. I'm going to go in here and pick all of these torpedo-centric things, and then I'm not going to be able to hit squat with my guns because the range is going to be terrible, that's like the drawback, right? So it's just like, yeah, but this killing distance is like really intriguing, right? So more torpedo range, way better, like improved detectability, right? So they won't see the torpedoes as soon, so they'll have less time to dodge them. Like that's really cool, like 200 meters when you max that out. And then they deal more damage once they get out to max range too. So like with that perk, so like there's a lot going on with that one. I'm like, that's kind of cool. But yeah, so that is our video for Agano today. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Let me know if you're feeling the same conflict of what commanders to use. But like I said, I'll try them all out at some point, right? So thanks for watching. Make sure to follow the channel. We'll see you guys tomorrow.